Toastmasters. As most of you know, I attended Comic-Con for the third time this year, and as most of you have asked me, how was it? Well, that's not such an easy question to answer. Before you can even grasp the concept of Comic-Con, you need to know a little bit of history about it and the tremendous amount of growth that it has experienced over the years. So first of all, I want to tell you that Comic-Con started in 1970 in San Diego. It was called then the Golden State Comic Book Convention. It now is called San Diego Comic-Con, or SDCC. In between, it was also called San Diego Comic Book Convention. But over the, 30, 40 years, it has grown, and now it's held in San Diego every summer. It's for a full weekend starting Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Wednesday night is a preview night for early registrants, press, and special attendees. It is the largest convention of its kind in the world, and it is by far the largest convention that San Diego hosts at the San Diego Convention Center. It's estimated that it brings in $162.8 million in economic impact to San Diego. It originally started out with just a small group of people talking about comic books, but today it is a celebration of all things pop culture. Some of the original comic book people are a little upset about that because sadly it's very little about actual comic books these days. In 1970, there were 145 attendees. No. If you can see the chart, there were 145 attendees, and in 2010 there were over 130,000. So I don't know what the percentage is, but you can see the growth has been incredible over the course of years. I emphasize the number of people because that's the first pill you have to swallow about Comic-Con. There are a lot of people. It is very crowded. It is hard to get around. You have to stand in line. But the 3 times that I've been there, I've developed a 10-point survival guide of things to remember to help you survive. Today I have time to only give you 3, but I'm going to attempt to do that now. Bam! Be prepared. Biff! Set priorities. Pow! Plan ahead. First of all, be prepared. Like I said, you're going to be standing in line a lot, and if it's tough to be on your feet, this year I got a little tripod stool, which is very easy to whip out, snap it, and set up. And I actually use this in line. I didn't think it would support me, but it did. So I recommend that. And you may be outside sometimes, so I recommend a hat and sunscreen. You also have to think about your physical survival. So you're going to need snacks and you're going to need something to drink. But don't drink too much because you may have to go to the bathroom more often, and sometimes that is not very convenient. So how are you going to carry this survival kit around? Well, the first year I used a backpack, which was great, but it was real hard to get into it on short notice if I needed my camera or something. So this year I carried my messenger bag, and this was particularly handy because this messenger bag has plugs to charge my phone. Charging accessories is something that's also very difficult at Comic-Con. Now when you register, they give you a nice bag in your registration kit, and you can strap it on your shoulders. I thought this was going to be very helpful because it's light and it's big, but I still had trouble with the corners bumping into people. Although, this year the bags had capes. So that made it very fun to wear around the convention center. But actually, the best bags are ones they just give away on the floor if you go to a booth. And it's just a handheld bag like this. This is really about the perfect size to pick up freebies and to carry with you. So I would recommend going to the floor and getting one of those. Number 2 was to set priorities. There is no way you can do everything you want to do at Comic-Con. It's just physically impossible to be in 2 places at one time. So you need to look at the schedule ahead of time and decide what you really want to do. But have a backup plan. Don't be disappointed if you don't get into the actual panel or presentation that you want to attend. Have a backup plan. Be prepared to be disappointed, but then undisappoint yourself by attending something. And it's good to go to something you might not have ever experienced before. Many times I've sat in on a panel of something I was not interested in at all, but I came away from there feeling that I learned something and enjoyed something new that I normally wouldn't have thought of. Set your priorities. What is more important to you? Do you want to be able to take pictures of people? Do you want to try to get autographs? Or do you just want to shop on the floor? Set your priorities to help you make your decisions. And then finally, plan your attack. This is a picture of the exhibit floor, which is 460,000 square feet. Now, if you think you're going to stroll in and just walk from one end to the other and take a look at everything, it's pretty impossible. 2 years in a row, I attempted to make every aisle and see every booth, and it took me at least 6 hours over the course of 2 days to make it from one end to the other. Make a list. They, on the website, give you all the vendors that are going to be there and all the exclusive items that you can pick up at the different booths. So make a list, target where you want to go, hit those destinations first, and then try to enjoy everything else. There's not really a quick way through the floor, but I do recommend the perimeter of the floor is a little less crowded, and if you need to get from one end to the other, go around the edges rather than through the middle. Most of all, be patient. You're going to have to stand in line for everything, and I mean everything. So there's no sense getting upset. You just have to be patient. Those are the 3 tips. Be prepared, set priorities, and plan ahead. Most of all, though, have fun. That's what you're there for. If anything I've told you scares you off, or if you don't like people or crowds, then Comic-Con probably isn't for you, and you shouldn't go. For me, though, I thought this year might be my last hurrah, but I had such a good time, I'm definitely going to return next year. So until that time next year, when I'm giving you perhaps 3 more tips, just remember, same Bootstraps time, same Bootstraps channel. Thank you.